My name is Chris Stevens. I'm a sports writer, novelist, podcaster, and vlogger, as you can see if you stumbled upon this channel, and a lover of all things music, automobiles, sports, and discusser of various topics on this channel. We talk romance, we talk music, we talk journalism. My last 3 episodes, oh my God, have been really journalism heavy. Well, the last Monday, 2 or 3 Monday episodes have been really journalism heavy, but we're going to try and get to some other things on this channel as well, different topics of interest around the world. Of course, I have a Thursday show called The Overnight Scenario, was actually Thursday night going into Friday morning, where I discuss all manners of dating, romance, and sex. And you can expect another great overnight scenario this week. I already have the topic lined up, so I'm ready to get that started. So welcome. If you are new, I invite you to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you can be notified of all the new content that drops on this channel. And if you are a returning subscriber or lurker, welcome back. Thank you all for tuning into this channel. Greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like and comment on the videos so we can get a discussion going. We can get this algorithm popping and more eyes and ears, let me make sure I got that correct, can be on this channel because I really want this thing to grow. I'm at 89 subscribers right now. I would love to get to 100 before the end of the month. I mean, yeah, we got about 3 weeks before the end of the month, but I can get to 100. That would really start to, open up some avenues for me. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe, tell a friend to subscribe, make sure they tell a friend to subscribe, and we'll have a good time here. All right, so this weekend was kind of like a lost weekend for me because I've been working on getting my car fixed so I can go see Stevie Wonder next Saturday. This weekend was actually my college homecoming. Shout out to Delaware State University, and I just didn't get everything done that I needed to get done because I bought I don't want to call it a clunker or a lemon, but it was a car that was going to need some work. I mean, it runs just fine, but Delaware inspection is a little snippy. So make sure I got, a couple of things. I got another part that's supposed to be coming this week. And then I'll be able to take it through inspection and at least have it, ready to go to Philadelphia on Saturday to see the awesomeness that is Mr. Stevie Wonder. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. I've never seen Stevie Wonder a day in my life. And I consider myself a huge Stevie fan. Like, it's nothing for me to just get lost in his catalog, especially that classic era from 71 to 76. I know people say 72, but I actually include Where I'm Coming From in that classic set because that was Stevie pretty much announcing his intentions. That was the last album before he turned 21. Because if you're not familiar with Stevie Wonder's contract situation, it's very interesting. There was a law on the books. I forget the child actor who it was named after because he literally got robbed for all he was worth by his own damn family. I think his name was Jackie Coogan or something. But they had child labor laws in place after that, that any contract that a minor signs is null and void once they turn 21. So Stevie Wonder turned 21 on May 13th, 1971. Where I'm Coming From had come out the previous winter in, the beginning of 1971. So by the spring of 71, Stevie Wonder is a free agent. Now, mind you, he'd been recording for Motown for 9 years. So this Stevie Wonder could have been recording for somebody else. This is one of the greatest what ifs, not just in music, but in the world, period, in just world history. What if Stevie Wonder had released his stuff on something like Capitol or Atlantic or Mercury or even Stax? If he had gone to Stax or something, that would have been like Snoop Dogg going to No Limit, if you remember that day. If you know, you know. But Stevie, true to his loyalty, stuck with Motown, then started recording Music of My Mind, which is an absolute classic that we don't talk enough about. Talking Book, which is great. Intervisions, which is awesome. Fulfilling His First Finale. Did an episode with that with my guy Evan Barnes. You can go through my channel and check that out. Matter of fact, I'll just drop a link in the comments below if you guys want to check that out. Then, of course, Songs in the Key of Life, which turned 48 years old a couple weeks ago. Somebody needs to get started on the 50th anniversary retrospective of that album. If the world is not completely in hell by 2026, we need a 50th anniversary podcast, a documentary, a long form, whatever. When Songs in the Key of Life turns 50, we need the works because that is the greatest recorded album in American history. Yes, I said it. I don't care what genre you pick. I don't care what artist you pick. I don't care what producer you pick. Songs in the Key of Life trumps them all. Trump. God, I hate using that word, but you get the picture. But yes, for the first time in my life, on Saturday, October 12th, I'm going to see Stevie Wonder, and I'm absolutely over the moon about it. But here's a problem, and the car is not the problem. I hate I-95 going to Philadelphia. It absolutely scares the shit out of me. Here, if you're new to this channel, here's a Chris Stevens Snapple fact. I'm definitely afraid of heights. Absolutely afraid of heights. Like, that's why I've only flown on an airplane like 3 or 4 times in my life. I do flights. I don't do the air. If God intended for me to fly, I would have been a damn bird, but I'm a human being. So and I-95 going into Philadelphia and through Philadelphia sits up extremely high. Like, if you've ever driven, you can look over the side and just look down and down and down, and it's like, holy shit. So Stevie Wonder's performing at Wells Fargo Center. Yeah. And yes, I've driven to Philadelphia before. I've driven to Philadelphia before to take my mom to see Frankie Beverly. I drove to Philadelphia last July, not July 2024, July 2023, to see Beyonce for the first time. I wasn't going to miss Beyonce. Damn sure can't miss Stevie, because Stevie is, my GOAT, my personal GOAT. So I'm driving alone. I'm driving alone because I bought one ticket, because it was something that I wanted to enjoy for myself. And it was just like, oh boy, I'm really going to try to drive with a Toyota Corolla. Toyota Corollas are not the biggest cars in the world. But actually, again, also on his channel, it's a video about that. It's actually a 99 Chevy Prism, but it's the same thing as a Toyota Corolla, basically. So I'm driving a Toyota Corolla to Philadelphia on a Saturday to go see Stevie Wonder. At night, mind you. And my vision is bad. Don't let these beautiful brown eyes fool you. I can't see a fuck thing without glasses. So, obviously I have to drive with my glasses on, which I will do. I'm not dumb, but I only take my glasses off for this, for the express purpose of being nearsighted. Because if I have my glasses on while I'm doing this show, my head is going to start hurting. But if I'm not in front of a laptop, if I'm not in front of if I'm not right in front of reading something like a book or a newspaper, my glasses are on because I can't see without any aid whatsoever. I actually need new glasses, to be honest with you. So, yes, nervous as I am, I'm definitely going to take this trip up to go see Stevie on next Saturday. Very excited to do so. I may do a concert vlog, so be on the lookout for that. It may be just me panicking until I'm absolutely not recording anything while I'm driving. Hell no, not a chance. I need my hands at 10 and 2. I need my eyes focused on the road and everybody around me, because people on 95 in Pennsylvania and Philly drive like they have issues. And I ain't for the bullshit. So, but yes, I'm going to see Stevie Wonder. Very excited about that. The topic I did want to cover, though, this was just me talking randomly, but the topic I did want to cover was WWE's Bad Blood took place this past weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was a can't miss card up and down. We started off real negative. We started off violently with Hell in a Cell, of course, where Drew McIntyre and CM Punk hopefully have hashed out their differences. Real life differences, mind you. McIntyre does not fool with Punk. Punk does not fool with McIntyre. And it showed, because they bled all over that damn State Farm Arena ring, buddy. Like, yeah, they said they were going to, they both said that, this was going to be a match where, the feeling gets restored, because, it was Hell in a Cell. If you're a WWE fan, you know what Hell in a Cell is supposed to be. Hell in a Cell. Like, it's not supposed to be catch as catch can, or, top 5, Dave Meltzer's 5-star ratings or work rate or none of that. It is people absolutely beating the blood and guts out of each other. And Punk and McIntyre absolutely restored that feeling Saturday in Atlanta. Main event, of course, was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the odd couple teaming up against the new bloodline of Jacob Fatu and the new tribal chief Solo Sikoa. And if you haven't seen it yet, so telling you now, if you haven't seen Bad Blood yet, skip this next 15, 20 seconds or whatever. Dwayne Johnson comes out. The Rock comes out after Cody and Roman and a returning Jimmy Uso fend off the new bloodline. So what does The Rock coming back mean? Who knows? But All in all, a very solid card. The women's title match featured Raquel Rodriguez. The WWE women's title match actually featured Nia Jax and Bayley. And the women's world championship match was Liv Morgan getting help from Raquel Rodriguez to retain the title against Rhea Ripley. And again, a whole solid card. You can watch it on Peacock. Peacock went up to $7.99 a month, $13.99 premium. I'm not doing super premium. I'll live with commercials because I mean, I have to do a whole episode about how streaming has just ruined the entire viewing experience as a TV watcher. But that'll come another day. But there is something I did want to talk about, and Paul Triple H Levesque. You know what's so crazy that this man has been Triple H all of our lives, and now we have to call him by his government name because he's officially retired because of heart condition, and is basically running WWE now, chief content officer. But yes, Paul Triple H Levesque. There was a press conference after Bad Blood where someone asked him a question about people getting opportunities, and I want you guys to listen closely to what Mr. Levesque had to say.
Sure that there are wrestlers that get opportunities that are deserved.
I see everybody gets the opportunity. Like if I don't see the difference in anybody, I don't see the color, I don't see the nationality, I don't see any of it. I just see talent. I don't see the difference between men and women. I see talent. We tell stories with those talent, how they can handle those stories and how they can represent those stories and how we can bring those stories forward. So, I don't keep track of any of that. I do what's relevant and what is best in the best in storytelling and what's being delivered the best, and then that's what goes. No different than the men and the women who main events, whatever the biggest stories are. That's where we go.
Next.
So found that very interesting, and here's where being a black wrestling fan is to be caught up in a conundrum a lot, because we've seen some racist things in professional wrestling as long as we've been watching. Like, I've been watching wrestling since 1988. Tell you how long ago this was. There was still a Dallas promotion. It wasn't World Class Championship Wrestling. It was World Class Wrestling Association. But the last days of WCCW was WCWA. The American Wrestling Association was still around. Wasn't World Championship Wrestling. It was National Wrestling Alliance on TBS. Then, of course, you had WWF. So I've been watching this wrestling thing a good 85, 90% of my life. So even as a kid, I didn't know how racist things were until I actually got old enough to understand that Akeem, the African Dream, was actually a white dude from upstate South Carolina named George Gray. Kamala was a caricature. So was Tony Atlas returning as Saba Simba. Tito Santana as the Matador. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. On and on it goes. So racism and misogyny and homophobia have been in wrestling for as long as wrestling has been. We're in 2024, and now people have raised awareness about all of these different slights that are part of the American experience. And I get that Triple H is trying to tiptoe around it and say that I'm putting the best people in the best positions, which you can't really argue that he hasn't, because look, we've had black tag team champions, we've had black United States champions, we've had black intercontinental champions, black representation in wrestling, and Latina representation as well, because Latino and Latina, because you have Dominic Mysterio, you have Raquel Rodriguez coming back, you have Zelina Vega, you have Andrade, all of these other folks. WWE is as diverse as it's probably ever been, and for the first time ever, the booking and the creative side of it is starting to reflect that. But I want Triple H, and this is just me talking. He ain't got to listen to me anymore. He got to listen to the man in the moon. And he damn sure ain't got to listen to nobody says he doesn't have to listen to Vince anymore. But I do want Triple H to understand that he has the luxury of saying that he doesn't see color. Those of us who grew up with this color, we don't have that luxury. When I think about, and the funny thing is, Triple H had one of the most racist promos, build-ups to a championship match ever. And he probably remembers it. He might actually be ashamed of it because, I mean, Triple H was wilding back in the day. I mean, 2 words, Katie Vick. That's all I got to say. But yes, when he was scheduled to face Booker T for the World Championship, he did a whole lot of gaslighting and coded language that Black people have heard so many times over the course of our lifetimes. I mean, this was over 20 years ago, so maybe Triple H has changed. And granted, this was for the show. I mean, this was that was, I guess that's what we used to call kayfabe, even though Jim Cornette hates the death of kayfabe. But yes, yeah, that was, maybe that was kayfabe. Maybe Triple H wasn't really that damn racist, but he was racist playing a racist character, that's for sure. Talking about how Booker T's kind doesn't get to become champion. And those of you who are longtime wrestling fans know exactly what I'm talking about. But Triple H can say that he doesn't see color and that he's putting the best people in the best positions, but he has to toe that line carefully because people are upset that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, did not have a match in Atlanta. Yes, they hosted Bad Blood, but that felt like a cobbled together sort of thing. It was like, oh shit, we didn't give our women's tag team champions a match. So it's in Atlanta, and Atlanta's a Black city, and we can't just not have Black people on the show. So let's let them host. And it wasn't a bad thing, but at the same time, people were going to ask questions about that because that was pretty much a non-Black pay-per-view in an overwhelmingly Black city this past weekend. And people can be offended that Black people are speaking out about race. Women speak out about misogyny. The LGBTQ community speaks out about homophobia, but they've gotten away with this for so long. They just don't know how to keep the pressure up in these different about white America isms. And because when you think about that, it's why you can't tell them anything. Whenever you try to get them to see that they've had a 400-year head start because they've been able to bully and brutalize their way to the top, words ain't gonna work with them because the only thing they know is violence. They don't know talking it out. They don't know discussion. They don't know critical thinking. They don't know dialogue. They don't know any of this shit. They just know violence and overwhelming people. And now that they can't completely overwhelm Black people, they can't overly overwhelm Latinos, they can't completely overwhelm Asian folk, indigenous people, South Asian, East Indian. They can't overwhelm the LGBTQ community anymore. They literally are just at wit's end. They're going to try to physically overwhelm everybody, but they can't do it in mass numbers like they used to. They're going to try, obviously, but that's why they've resorted to coded language and gaslighting, like going from woke to CRT to DEI as slurs for Black people, and different sort of coded language for the LGBTQ community, like substituting letters for slurs that won't get them banned on social media because the algorithms are all messed up because Elon Musty, of course, has ruined Twitter all to be damned. That guy, boy. But I can tell you this, watching Musty is the best example, watching him ham it up for Donald Trump is the best example of this.
Ooh wee! Look what that money make a bitch do.
Funny, ain't it? But that's the guy that's in charge of Twitter. That is the guy that has allowed Nazis and racists and homophobes and all these different sort of idiots back on social media, and all of us are suffering for it. But yes, Triple H, he can get away with, I'm not going to say get away with it because that's not fair to him. He has the luxury of saying that he doesn't see race, he doesn't see color, but those of us who have that race, those of us who have different colors, we have no choice but to see it because it's thrown in our faces every day by white America. And it's fair for us to call it out. Maybe it's not fair to put it all on him, but it's still fair for us to call it out because white people have these blind spots when it comes to racism, when it comes to misogyny, when it comes to homophobia, when it comes to them just having everything handed to them, starting life on third base, basically. and the rest of us are just trying to get to the plate, for crying out loud, and get a fair pitch to hit. That's basically what it boils down to. But I'm not going to sit here and just totally castigate Triple H because this didn't start with him, and it damn sure ain't going to finish with him. It's up to us, Black people, Asian people, Latino people, Asian, Eastern Indian. It's up to the LGBTQ community. It's up to us to band together and tell white people that y'all have had your run of everything for as long as there's been a planet. So when we ask for something, when we ask for peace, when we ask to be left alone, when we ask for equal opportunities, we're only asking what you have withheld from us for as long as y'all have been in charge, which has been the entirety of this existence. That's pretty much what it boils down to. But yes, want to end the show on a good note. I mean, honestly, it's been a very interesting 20-something minutes. Obviously, I like to keep these shows within 15, 25 minutes. So we're going to wrap this thing up very, very shortly. And I definitely thank you guys for tuning in. But one thing about the weather cooling off is that I love being in my kitchen again. And I swear I'm going to give you guys a full-fledged cooking video, baking video. I don't know what I've decided to cook or bake yet for you guys, but it's coming, trust me, because the colder it gets, the more I'm going to be inside. I do not like being cold, which is funny. Which is funny because I still sleep with the AC and the fan on until it just gets too cold to do so. Like, I'm probably going to go ahead and sleep with the fan and AC on tonight. But I love being in the kitchen, and one of the great things about, learning how to cook is that it lessens your foolishness. It lessens the desire to go out and buy, fast food and different things. You learn how to, mess around in your own kitchen. And I did something earlier this year by accident because I was out of bagels, because certain things I can bake and cook, other things I can't. But this beautiful piece of business right here, ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the best plates I have ever made in my life. Now, what you are looking at on the left side of your screen, or the right side of your screen, wait a minute. If this is my left hand, then it's on my right. But since you're watching, shit, I think it's going to be on your right too. That's fine. But yes, what you are looking at is sausage turkey patties, homemade buttermilk biscuits, and freezer bought hash browns. It took me a while to remember that it was hash browns. And I've heard that I've heard hash browns are actually all not that hard to make from potato. I just don't trust my cooking skills as of yet. So how that works, I'm not exactly sure. But yes, what you are looking at is ground turkey sausage patties, hash browns from the Food Lion freezer, and homemade buttermilk biscuits. That is one of my favorite plates that I've ever made in my entire life. And it was accident because, like I said, I was out of bagels because I usually make sausage and cheese bagels, but I was out of, store-bought bagels. So, but I had enough for buttermilk biscuits, and I had biscuit cutters. Biscuit cutters are not all that expensive. You can find them on Amazon for like $8, $9. It really just depends on, what kind of money you want to spend. I mean, they're the good biscuit cutters, and I don't even think they run you more than $20. But if you just look for basic biscuit cutters, you can find those on Amazon for $9. Or even if you just have a glass, a cup that you can just your dough in. But yes, how do I make my biscuits? Let me do it. Do I want to take this off the screen? No, I'd rather you look this up because I want y'all to take in the gloriousness that is this motherfucking plate. I did my thing, boy. But yes. All right, so my biscuits really are very simple because, it's buttermilk. For one, you need buttermilk. 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And mind you, you have to spoon and level them. Like, you can't just go ahead and just dump 3 cups worth of flour into a bowl and let them rock. Now, you got to spoon them out into little cups until you get, a little bit of top heaviness. And then you take a knife and then you just level them off. And you do that for 3 cups. Then you, all right, so what you do is, okay, spoon it out, 1 cup, level it off. Boom. And then you do that 2 more times. And there's also, I think it's either a teaspoon or a tablespoon of, no, it's actually quarter teaspoon of baking powder. And it's about 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar. Then you cut down your unsalted butter. Mind you, it only works with unsalted butter. Salted butter is going to make your biscuits flat as hell. Unsalted butter, which is why it's very important to have. So you cut those up like about a stick and a half, or actually about 2/3 of a stick, which is 6 tablespoons, and you cut them up into like little pea-sized pieces of butter. Then you drop those in. Then you get a cup of buttermilk. Make sure your buttermilk is good, because if your buttermilk is past expiration date, it's not going to work. Make sure your buttermilk is up to date. Then you pour that buttermilk in, and then you stir it up until the dough is like nice and shaggy. Don't forget this important part. Put a little bit of flour on your surface wherever you're cooking, so that can absorb up the shagginess of the dough. You knead that thing a few times. You fold it over. Then you take your biscuit cutter, however what size it is, and make sure you have parchment paper. Your oven has to be preheated to 450. 450 means it's going to finish in like 10 minutes. And then you do that. Then you let them sit for, you bake them for 10 minutes. People like to brush the tops with butter. I'm not that extensive with it. I don't like, I don't like doing all of that. I mean, I could, but I mean, I think that melted butter on the tops is just for show more than anything, because if you have enough butter in there, if you have enough unsalted butter in there along with your buttermilk, it's still going to taste like a biscuit. And even though you're going to put, I guess for this purpose, you really don't need butter. But if you're going to just have biscuits with butter, make sure you separate your unsalted butter from your salted butter, because unsalted butter on biscuits doesn't taste the same. Salted butter on biscuits is the one that sticks like grits. And yes, and then my ground turkey patties are spicy as hell, because I use paprika, cayenne red pepper, normal black pepper, ground sage, ginger, all of that. Throw it into my ground turkey mix. Make sure that's all up. Then you roll them up into little balls, and then you just drop them in the frying pan. Make sure your frying pan is a little past mid. It doesn't have to be all the way up top, but just make sure it's a little past mid so they cook out a little quicker. But you'll have your if you have a spatula, or if you have a patty stomper. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the actual name of it, but if you have one of them patty stompers that just like shh, that works as well. And that's how you get that beautiful plate there. The hash browns I get from Food Lion, you put them on 425, one side 15 minutes, second side 10 minutes, and then you let them cool off. So that is how you get that beautiful plate you see in front of you right there. I'm proud of that plate, boy. I mean, it was earlier this year, but I'm probably going to end up doing it again once I'm done with my whole concert experience. I may actually do it after the concert, after I'm so excited from seeing Stevie come back home, make it back home, get some sleep, get up and make some damn biscuits and ground sausage, and have myself a nice little plate like that one there. So I definitely gave you guys a little more extensive cooking video than I planned to, but that's the beauty of this thing. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Chris Stevens Writes YouTube show. Greatly appreciate your time as always. Contact information will be in the description below. Same for the subscription button and the notification bell. Make sure you hit both of those things so you can be notified of all the new content that drops on the channel. And don't forget to like and comment on the videos. Greatly appreciate your time as always. So thank y'all for watching. Till next time we speak, y'all be good or be good at it.